Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to take a look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Future's End Booster Gold. This is from the sort of one-shot Booster Gold Future's End story. He's a time traveler, so with the title Future's End, you know it's a time travel story. This is a repaint or re-release of Booster Gold in a different costume. I ordered this from the McFarlane toy store, took advantage of the bundle discount and the coupon code, and got these guys for less than retail even after shipping and taxes. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12. DC Multiverse, Booster Gold. Here he is in the package, no traditional accessories, collector's card, and a flight stand. One side of the package, Booster Gold from Future's End. Other side, Booster Gold. At the bottom, there's his barcode. And at the back, here's Booster Gold posted up in front of a brick wall. So with no further ado, let's open them up. And like I said, I got the bundle from the McFarlane toy store consisting of Ambush Bug, Mr. Freeze, and Booster Gold. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He doesn't really come with any accessories. We have a flight stand and a collector's card. Before I tell you all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Booster Gold. He was an athlete from the future. He became a criminal by sort of betting on his own games, and he went back in time to become a superhero in our times. Sort of a time traveler. He's kind of cocky, full of himself, hangs out with Blue Beetle a lot. This guy was done on the Booster Gold and Blue Beetle body. And why is it called that? Because it was first introduced in the Booster Gold and Blue Beetle 2-pack. Of course, this is Booster Gold again. What I assume is reusing the exact same body. So let's take a look. He's in a different outfit, sort of shiny gold and navy blue. He wore it in the 2-issue Booster Gold Future's End. Doesn't really do too much for me. So he's got the blonde sort of parted a little bit on the side. He's got the goggles, which should be nice if they made them transparent this time so you can see his eyes behind them. They've done that before. Smiling face. It is the Blue Beetle body. You can see those signature 2 prominent abs on the top part of the torso, which always bothered me. The ugly wrists, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. What looks to be the unnecessary boot cut on this guy. It's a basic figure, but it's a logical variant for Booster Gold. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It looks good enough, but the goggles kind of bother me. I saw a lot of people complain about how the goggles were the first time. I thought maybe they would have changed that because there were no other new tooling parts to this guy. And now for his accessories, which are extremely disappointing. We have the flight stand and the collector's card, no actual accessories. And considering this guy is 100% repaint, re-release, exact same sculpt as the previous one, they could have spared the expense for some extra hands and some accessories, even if they just gave us the same accessories the previous version of Booster Gold came with. As it is, he comes with a flight stand and a collector's card. Let's check out the flight stand first. It comes in 2 separate pieces. When put together, it's gonna look like this. It's a pretty sturdy flight stand. It just doesn't really elevate the figure nearly as much as I'd like. It's got a regular base at the bottom, says DC on it, and it's got this post that comes to the top. At the top, there's rotation. It's also hinged, and it has a clamp to hold your figure. Then we have his collector's card. As you can see, it's Booster Gold in front of a brick wall. Booster Gold from Future's End. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Here's the new Booster Gold's collector's card on the left, next to the original 2-pack versions on the right. And here are some of the accessories he could have came with. In addition to some alternate hands, and that wouldn't have cost him any new sculpted parts because they've made tons of hands for this body already. But we have an energy effect that could attach to his wrist, a cell phone, and then his robot skeets. I would say they could have at least given us robot skeets. It's sort of his little helper, almost like his partner. Any of these things would have been nice, and would have been straight re-releases from McFarlane. For a figure that's a straight re-release, they could have definitely afforded some accessories. Now I wanted to check out the differences and similarities, reuse between this new version of Booster Gold and the original version from the 2-pack. So let's take a look. Starting with their heads, 100% the same. Slightly different paint job. Really, not so much. I guess the skin tone's a little paler on the new one. The torso, exactly the same. Diaper piece, exactly the same. Legs, exactly the same, even with the unnecessary boot cut. Now, the only difference I see is in the forearm and the hands. It doesn't have this risen part on the top of his hand or this risen part on the sleeve. This is from pure Blue Beetle. And since they did a pure reuse, just saying, those accessories would have been nice. Here's a look at all the McFarlane DC Multifigures that utilize the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. There are a total of 15 of them. Now, they don't share every single part, but they have most of the same parts. The torso, the arms, the legs, they all have that signature 2 abs that are sort of big on the top part of the torso. Now, some of these I don't mind the reuse, but some of them I do. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and its accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.1 inches tall, which could translate to 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course you can rotate from side to side, you can look up and down pretty good amount, tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up more than 90 degrees, up, down, around. He's got the butterfly ring between shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut, double jointed elbow. His wrist can rotate and is going to be hinged. In his torso, he has a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. Legs, complete with splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is decent on him. They go forward all the way, back not much. Double jointed knees, and then his ankle. Forward and back, rotate, tilt, and rock, and of course, to articulation. Here's a look at Booster Gold, flying through the city skies, smiling, almost posing for the camera. Probably has his little robot Skeets taking a selfie right now. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Booster Gold figures. Here's the new Future's End Booster Gold, next to the original version. The original version is in main costume, and that's my preferred look for sure. And here he is, next to Wave Rider. I don't know if you guys realize this, but this is not the first Wave Rider. This is actually the second Wave Rider, which is Booster Gold as Wave Rider. Notice the big star on his chest. Giving us a total of 3 different Booster Gold figures by McFarlane Toys. I can see them perhaps releasing his normal suit as a single release in the future. There is a McFarlane Superpowers version of Booster Gold coming pretty soon. I think they'll probably give him a rest for a while. Here's Booster Gold, next to both versions of the Ted Cord Blue Beetle. This version, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, were partners all the time. Getting into shenanigans, all kind of stuff. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Mr. Freeze, redone an animated series paint job, Booster Gold from Future's End, and Ambush Bug. I'll tell you my thoughts on this wave. Kind of a lazy reuse wave. Mr. Freeze, absolutely no new parts, but an excellent paint job. Booster Gold, absolutely no new parts, but a sort of crappy paint job. And then Ambush Bug, almost no new parts except for the head, and it comes off as a pretty cool figure if you're interested in this F-lister. Here's Booster Gold, next to the Nightmare version of the Infected Batman, Mr. Zaz, and the Patina version of the Armored Kingdom Come Batman. These are all McFarlane Toy Store exclusives. And here he is, next to the Kryptonite Doomsday Glow-in-the-Dark Mega figure. Then, next to the Collector's Edition Wave 4, Penguin, Starfire, and Captain Boomerang. And now, next to the Target exclusive Gold Label Cassandra Cain Batgirl and Rival. Here's Booster Gold, next to the most recent Batman wave. We have both the red and platinum chase blue versions of Azrael in his Batman armor, black and gray Nightfall Batman, and both the regular and platinum Detective Comics 27 First Appearance Batman. And here he is, next to the JLA wave, Collectible Plastic Man. We have both the blue and platinum red versions of Superman, 2 fully assembled Plastic Man figures, Black Suit Batman, regular and platinum John Stewart Green Lantern, and regular and platinum Aquaman. Then, next to the recent wave of Page Punchers, Superman Ghost of Krypton, we have the regular, the platinum, and the sketch editions. And finally, with the digital wave, Silver Age Hal Jordan Green Lantern, DC Rebirth Batman, and DC Classics Aquaman. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here's Booster Gold, next to a little cup of Pico de Gallo. And here he is, next to some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures, next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some SH Figure Arts action figures and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a pretty mediocre Booster Gold figure. Now, here are my complaints. Number one, it's a lazy figure. It's based off the Future's End costume, I guess, and that was only a 2-issue little mini arc. I much prefer the traditional Booster Gold costume because that's what he wears 95% of the time. This figure is pure reuse from the Blue Beetle body. It's the original Booster Gold with the Blue Beetle forearms and hands. So there was zero new tooling put into this figure. If that's the case, we should load him with his accessories since we saved all kind of costs in the tooling. But no, let's give him absolutely nothing. Definitely lazy. Could have given him a bunch of hands. No new tooling required there. Blue Beetle already has a ton of hands with the different various figures. Could have included the Booster Gold accessories from the previous pack. Would have required no new tooling there. This is the exact opposite thing that McFarlane stood out for in the first years. No new tooling, new sculpts, plenty of accessories, not upcharging, etc. McFarlane definitely swings a different direction nowadays. I don't mind lack of accessories sometimes, but when it's 100% reuse, they have to trade that off by giving us something extra. And honestly, giving us the previous accessories and hands isn't exactly something extra, it's just something re-released from before, and they couldn't even do that. His articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. He uses the Blue Beetle body, which is not necessarily a bad body, but there's a couple things I don't like about it. The two top abs being so prominent makes it really obvious that it's done on the same body. The wrists are also very ugly, and it has the unnecessary boot cuts. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. They could have definitely done something different with the goggles, because there was nothing new invested in this figure. They could have at least done something there. Skeletal paint job, fine, no real issues there. Accessories, completely non-existent. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give him a disappointing 5 out of 10. It just seems like a really lazy way to crank out a Booster Gold variant that nobody wants. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.